To Be Hero X episode 13 now out, so let's talk about it.
Hero X!
So the newest episode of To Be Hero X has now come out, and we're not picking up where we left off last week. We are actually diving into a new character known as Lolly. She is now the focal point of this episode, and it looks like it's going to be next episode as well. So we're into another hero. So I do think they're going to come back to the Queen stuff. That's going to all tie in later on. I mean, they've done it already. So, you can't just sit there and be like, oh, well, why haven't they picked up from here? This is what they do. They do that and then they leave it. Like, we still don't know the full conclusion of what happened with Ling Ling. We don't know. We don't know the full conclusion of Isol. But that's all going to come together. And so don't worry about that. But this episode, I really like this episode. Now, is this the best episode they've done so far? No, I don't think it's the best episode they've done, but it's still a very, very good episode. So we have this character in Lolly, who is a young woman with pink hair that wants to be a hero. And you get to see her when she's very young and she sees Queen on TV and she's like, yes, Mum, I want to be a hero just like Queen. The mum takes a photo of it. And as she gets older into her teenage years, she starts to realize that she still has this dream of being a hero, but people call her cute. People are like, oh, you're such a cute girl and that. And she's like, don't call me cute, because that's not what you associate with a hero. Heroes are badass. They're like cool, hip. They're like awesome. Queen looks absolutely magnificent. She looks godly in her armor and that. So Lolly is surrounded by people who think she's cute. The boys who are the same age of her think she's cute and like her. And she's really, really smart. She's very good at creating things. So her storyline is very much like it's like an Iron Man storyline in a way, where she's an inventor and she creates these suits and weapons and everything like that. That is what she does. And she's really, really smart because her dad is actually a scientist who is also very, very smart. So as she's going, she's like, I need to change the way they look. She wanted to cut her hair off, but she's like, why should I change who I am for everyone else? Like, why? I love long hair. I love having pink, I love that color, but why should I have to change? And I love this character about her trying to come to terms with, she's being called cute, but she doesn't want to change her look or anything because she's comfortable with who she is. So she decides to create a suit, and this is where she creates that mechanical bunny suit. So she goes out being all hero and that, and then there's this girl that's getting stalked by this creepy guy. So she comes down, and this is where she's like, look, I'm a hero, I'm gonna save you. She starts fighting this creepy guy, and it's actually a really, really nice fight. You get to see she's inexperienced. You do see that. So while she has all these gadgets and everything, you'd think she's got all the suit, the gadgets, everything. She's gonna have the upper hand. But the guy's way more skillful than she is, and that is showcased throughout the fight, because she does get beaten up in this fight because she just lacks the skill. She lacks the combat ability to be able to go hand to hand with this particular person. And I like that they did that, because they could have easily just had her run over the top of him. But I like that we're seeing that she's inexperienced. She does not have that knowledge yet. She has not trained that yet. And I like that aspect about it. So she ends up losing, but her thing gets cut off. Like the head gets cut off, and she's sitting there, face exposed and everything. And then the guy goes off, and then the chick's like, oh, I didn't expect to see a cute person underneath, like a cute girl underneath that. And you instantly see all the energy sucked from her, drained from her, as she's like, I'm gonna take my leave. Because the whole purpose of her building that was to change how people viewed her. But then as soon as her face is revealed, it's back to the cuteness. So she's trying to get away from that stigma of she's a cute person. She doesn't want that. And I love that motivation and aspect about her and how she grows. But then, obviously, the mother and father have been neglecting her in a way. Like, not neglecting to where she doesn't feed her or anything like that, but like attention-wise. And so they start taking out the lab that's underneath. And this is where she comes home and she's like, what are you doing? And the dad's like, look, man, I'm sorry. I've neglected you. I haven't been paying attention in that. And now look what you're doing. You're building all these weapons. You're building all these suits and everything like that. It's getting out of hand. And she's like, well, you haven't been around, so why are you interfering now? Which is a great point, by the way. Man has not been around to oversee her and help her or anything like that. she does have a valid point of like, you were never around, so why do you give a shit now? And this is where he actually makes the offer of, why don't you come with me and work at my place? You know, it's safer, we got better facilities and everything. You can do all your stuff there. I will get it in. And this is where we actually find out the girls that she did save from the creep actually works there as well. And she has her own story about how she was at the front desk because she was a woman, and they're like, oh, first impressions, what a lovely girl. She doesn't look like she should be working here. But then obviously Lolly's father finds out the resume and he's like, why are you working at the front desk? You should be working for me. You're super smart. You've got all of these degrees and everything. You got everything that I need. So come work for me. So she starts bonding with Lolly, and they're like now building things and building new suits and that. So they go out and have a bit of fun. Next thing you know, the creep guy is watching them. So she's like, no, we're going to stand our ground. We're going to declare war on this guy. We're not going to let him bully you around or creep you out in that. So they do that. And as they get back to the lab, obviously one of them's off their face. Lolly's like, come on, let's go. We're going in there. And then the disco guy, the DJ hero that was let go because his performance was going down, arrives. And he's like, let's get this show. We have an explosion happen. He's there. I mean, it looks like he's going to be the main villain of the next episode with them in there. Whether or not he's the creepy guy, we don't know. But he could be. That could be the tie-in with the creepy guy. Because I thought the creepy guy was going to be the one that was going to walk in there and they're going to have to battle him again. But it's this guy. So I wonder if they're the same person. That will be for next week. We're going to have to find out. But overall, I think it's a really good introduction to the character of Lolly. I think when you're doing an anthology series like this, where you're dealing with different characters and you only have a limited amount of time, you really got to set that stage and set that character in motion. And I think this episode does that. That's its job. This episode isn't to be this high, insane episode. This job's to introduce us into this new character and where they are at in their life. And then next week's episode, I expect, is going to be the big battle. We're going to see her really be tested. And it might tie into the Queen storyline and everything like that. That could potentially happen. We just don't know yet. But again, another good episode of doing a new character. And like, I mean, look, as much as I want to know what's happening in the Queen storyline, like, I want to know what's happening with everyone right now. I really do. But I also love that we're getting introduced to new characters, and then later on it's all going to be tied in. I think that is just something very clever and very interesting. And I'm liking this form of storytelling. The animation was great. The music was great. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not my favorite episode of the series, but it is still up in the top echelon of episodes. Like, the writing is still fantastic, and the characters, they make you love the character straight out. Like, I love Lolly already. I'm like, yeah, I understand where she's coming from, and I hope she succeeds. I do, but at the same time, I'm like, do I want her to beat all the other ones that we've already seen? Like, it just makes it so hard. But that's what we want, man. We want to get to that final tournament where we're like, who do we want to win this thing? Like, who out of all these characters that we love do we want to win? And I love that about it. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you not? Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.